Welcome, everyone. Today, I am excited to introduce you to our latest session on reasoning classes, Part 4, which focuses on logical puzzles and mock tests. I'm Varun Vijay, and I've designed this resource specifically to help you excel in exams like SSC, Bank, Railway, BPSC, and UPSC. Throughout this presentation, we'll explore how to boost your accuracy and strengthen your logic skills with full-length practice tests. So, let's get started and make your preparation more effective and engaging. Let's take a closer look at our summary for today. We'll start with the logical puzzle, which is a great way to sharpen your reasoning skills. Then, we move into mixed reasoning practice, giving you a variety of question types to challenge your thinking. After that, we'll have a mock test consisting of 20 questions. This is your chance to simulate real exam conditions and assess your progress. Following the test, we'll do a final recap to reinforce what you've learned and provide some motivation to keep pushing forward. The main goal throughout all these activities is to test your knowledge and, more importantly, improve your exam performance. This content has been carefully curated by Varun Vijay, who's dedicated to helping you succeed. So, let's stay focused and make the most of this comprehensive practice session. Let's dive into the concept and trick behind logical puzzles. These puzzles often involve various elements like seating arrangements, rankings, directions, and blood relations. The key trick here is to identify the base type first, whether we're dealing with seating, floor plans, family trees, or data arrangements. Once we know the foundation, solving becomes much more straightforward. The steps to approach these puzzles are simple but effective. First, carefully note down all the statements given. This helps us get a clear picture of what's being said. Next, mark the definite information, facts that are explicitly stated and cannot be changed. These form the backbone of our deductions. Then, for the remaining clues that are less direct or more ambiguous, we use the process of elimination. By ruling out impossibilities, we narrow down the options and move closer to the solution. Remember, the overall goal is to systematically analyze and connect the dots, making logical deductions step by step. This structured approach is what makes solving these puzzles both challenging and rewarding. Let's look at some logical puzzles to sharpen our reasoning skills. On this slide, we start with a classic example involving 6 people, labeled A through F, sitting around a circle. The key detail here is that 3 of them are facing inward and 3 are facing outward. Now the puzzle gives us specific clues. C is the second person to the right of A, who is facing the center. B is directly opposite A, and D is to the left of B. The question is, who sits to the right of F? And the answer, as you see, is A. This example highlights how carefully analyzing seating arrangements and directions can help us deduce positions. Next, we move on to practice puzzles. The first involves 8 friends sitting in 2 rows, and our goal is to figure out who faces whom. The second involves 5 people on different floors, where we need to identify who is on the top floor. The third is a family puzzle, asking us to determine the relationship between X and Y. These exercises are designed to strengthen your logical thinking and pattern recognition. Remember, the key is to break down the clues step by step, visualize the arrangements, and connect the pieces logically. This approach is essential, not just for solving puzzles, but for sharpening your overall problem-solving skills in various scenarios. Let's talk about mixed reasoning practice, concept, and trick. This approach involves combining 2 or 3 different reasoning types into a single question. The key here is to think flexibly and integrate various skills to arrive at the solution. A very useful trick when tackling these questions is to always start with the most fixed clue. These are the pieces of information that are certain and unchangeable, which can help anchor your entire reasoning process. Practicing this kind of reasoning really boosts your linking ability. It trains your mind to connect different clues and reasoning types more efficiently, which is essential for tackling complex questions. Finally, I want to give credit to the book writer, Varun Vijay, who has provided valuable insights in this area. Overall, mastering mixed reasoning by understanding these concepts and tricks will significantly improve your problem-solving skills and help you become more confident in reasoning tests. Now, let's look at some mixed reasoning practice to sharpen our skills. On this slide, I'll walk you through an example first, then we'll do some practice questions together. In the example, we're given a set of relationships. A brother of B, C is the sister of B, and D is the father of A. The question is, what is the relation between D and C? By analyzing the relationship step by step, we find that D, being the father of A, and C being B's sister, makes D the father of C as well. So, the answer is father. It's a straightforward example of applying relationship concepts to find the answer. Now, moving to the practice section, we have 3 different types of puzzles to work through. First, we have a scenario with 4 people of different ages and cities, and our task is to identify the oldest person. This involves combining clues about age and location, so it's about careful comparison and deduction. Second, we have a ranking puzzle combined with blood relation clues. This type challenges us to think about order and family ties simultaneously, which makes the reasoning a bit more complex, but also more interesting. Finally, the third puzzle mixes directions and sitting patterns. Here, understanding directions and seating arrangements helps us figure out the correct pattern or position. Throughout these exercises, the key is to practice integrating different types of reasoning, be it relational, directional, or ranking, to develop a more well-rounded approach. And remember, these kinds of puzzles are not just about finding answers. They're about honing your logical thinking and problem-solving skills, which are essential for any reasoning-based exam or interview. So keep practicing, stay curious, and soon these puzzles will become second nature. Let's go over the instructions for the mock test. There are a total of 20 questions, and you'll have 10 minutes to complete all of them. Each question carries 1 mark, so keep track of your time and pace yourself accordingly. Importantly, there's no negative marking, meaning you won't lose any marks for wrong answers. I encourage you to try answering honestly without immediately looking at the solutions. This helps you understand your true level and identify areas for improvement. The book for this material has been written by Varun Vijay. Remember, this mock test is a crucial part of your preparation, so approach it with focus and honesty. Good luck. Let's walk through the questions from the mock test, focusing on the first 10 questions to sharpen our reasoning skills. Question 1 asks us to find the missing number in the sequence 4, 6, 9, 13, 18. Here, we need to observe the pattern or the rule governing the sequence. Notice the differences: 2, 3, 4, 5. It seems the increments are increasing by 1 each time, so the next difference should be 6. Adding 6 to 18 gives us 24. So the missing number is 24. Moving to question 2, we have 5 friends with a taller than B, C shorter than D, and we need to determine who is the tallest. This is about comparing heights based on the given clues. Since it is taller than B and C is shorter than D, the key is to figure out the relative positions. Without more info, the most logical conclusion is that A, being only taller than B and no other info about D or C, might be the tallest overall, but we'd need more data for certainty. The point here is to analyze the given clues carefully. Question 3 gives us a code. South equals 108, west equals 91, and asks us to find north. Often, such puzzles involve mapping directions to numbers, perhaps through alphabetic values. South and west have different values, so we need to look for a pattern. For example, south could be S equals 19, O equals 15, U equals 21, T equals 20, and summing these or applying another operation might lead us to the answer. The key takeaway is to look for consistent patterns or rules that link words to numbers. Question 4 presents a statement: all cats are dogs, and some dogs are goats, asking us for a conclusion. This is a classic logical deduction. Since all cats are dogs, and some dogs are goats, we can infer that some goats could be dogs, but we cannot conclude that all dogs are goats or that cats are goats. The main point here is understanding how to draw valid conclusions from given premises. Question 5 involves a clock showing 4:40, asking about the angle between the hands. Remember, the minute hand at 40 minutes points at the 8, and the hour hand is slightly past 4. To find the angle, we can calculate the positions of each hand and then find the difference. The key concept is to convert time into angles and use basic geometry to solve. Question 6 asks about the day of the week on January 1, 2025, if January 1, 2024 is a Monday. Since 2024 is a leap year, it has 366 days, which is 52 weeks plus 2 days. So January 1, 2025 would be 2 days after Monday, which is Wednesday. Question 7 describes a facing east, turning left, then right twice, and asks for the final direction. Starting east, turning left points north, then turning right once points east again, and another right points south. So the final direction is south. This kind of directional reasoning is fundamental in many puzzles. Question 8 asks us to choose the odd one out among the pairs. 39, 416, 520, 636. Notice that 39, 416, and 636 are perfect squares or multiples of squares, but 520 is different because 20 isn't a perfect square or a multiple of 1. So, 520 is the odd one out. Question 9 gives codes. Sun equals 54, moon equals 66, and asks for star. This involves decoding the pattern used. For example, summing the alphabet positions or applying a specific rule. Understanding the pattern helps us find the answer for star. Finally, question 10 asks, if all relations are reversed, what will mother become? This is a conceptual question about revering relationships, which encourages us to think about the meaning behind the words and their relationships. Throughout these questions, the key is to develop a logical approach, recognize patterns, and apply basic reasoning. These skills not only help in solving these questions, but also form the foundation for overall problem-solving strategies. All right, let's walk through questions 11 to 20 on this mock test. These questions are designed to test a variety of reasoning skills, from pattern recognition to logical deduction. Starting with question 11, we need to find the next term in the sequence 2, 6, 12, 20. Notice the pattern here. The differences between terms are increasing by 2 each time 4, 6, 8, so the next difference should be 10, making the next number 30. Question 12 asks, in a group of 6 people, who is third to the right of A? This is a typical seating arrangement question, and it tests your ability to visualize or diagram the scenario to identify the person positioned third to A's right. Moving on to question 13, we have a relationship puzzle. A plus B equals brother, and a minus B equals wife. The question asks, what is the relation between X, Y, and A? This involves understanding family relationships and how they combine, which requires careful analysis of the clues. Question 14 is about calendars, specifically, which day repeats every 400 years. The answer here is the leap year cycle, which affects the day of the week pattern over long periods. Question 15 asks for the angle between 5 o'clock and 15 minutes past 5. Since each hour mark on a clock is 30 degrees, and the minute hand at 15 minutes is at the 3, we calculate the angle accordingly. In question 16, 7 people are arranged with P to the left of Q, but to the right of R, the challenge is to determine who is at the center position, which involves understanding relative positioning. Question 17 involves directions. North is 0 degrees, east is 90 degrees, so southwest would be at 225 degrees. This tests your knowledge of compass directions and angles. Question 18 presents a statement. Some students are players, some are not. The key here is to analyze, based on the information given, what logical conclusions can or cannot be drawn. Question 19 involves 3 boxes of different colors, red, blue, green, containing fruits. The question asks for the correct combination, which requires logical deduction based on the clues provided. Finally, question 20 gives us percentages. 25% men and 35% women are graduates. The question is, what percentage are non-graduates overall? This involves simple subtraction and understanding of basic percentages. Throughout these questions, the common theme is applying logical reasoning, pattern recognition, and basic calculations. Keep these concepts in mind, and you'll be able to approach similar questions confidently. Let's go through the answer key summary to reinforce what we've learned. For question 1, the answer was 24. Moving to question 2, the correct choice was option D, and question 3, the answer is 120. For question 4, only statement II follows the pattern, which is important to remember. Question 5's answer is 100 degrees. Next, for question 6, the correct day is Wednesday, and for question 7, the direction is south. In question 8, the range is between 5 and 20, and question 9's answer is 60. For question 10, the answer is father, highlighting the relationship aspect. Moving to question 11, the answer is 30. For question 12, the correct option is C. Question 13 describes someone as the ex-sister-in-law of Y, which helps us understand relationships better. Question 14's answer is Friday. For question 15, the measured angle is 52.5 degrees. Question 16 is represented by Q, and question 17's answer is 225 degrees. In question 18, some are not players, which points to the importance of identifying non-participants. Question 19 involves colors linked to fruits. Green is mango, blue is apple, and red is orange. Finally, for question 20, the percentage is 65%. All these points tie into the overall theme by emphasizing key details and relationships, helping us see the bigger picture clearly. We've come to the final slide, and I want to take a moment to recap and motivate you. You've completed the entire full reasoning series from part 1 through part 4. Throughout this journey, we covered a wide range of topics, starting with the basics like the alphabet and coding, then moving on to concepts like direction, ranking, sitting arrangements, syllogisms, puzzles, and even mock tests. What's really important to remember is that reasoning isn't about memorization. It's about pattern recognition. As Varun Vijay, the author of this series, emphasizes, reasoning is not about rote learning, but about seeing the connections and patterns that help you solve problems more effectively. So keep learning, keep practicing, and I promise that success will follow. This isn't just about passing exams, it's about sharpening your thinking skills for life. Stay curious, stay persistent, and remember, every challenge is a new opportunity to recognize a pattern and grow.